There's no such thing as bad acting.
I just got some people riled up.
Here are some reasons people come across as bad actors, but they're not. The main reason I think people come across as bad actors is they're not present. They're up in their head thinking about their performance, emotionally blocked. They're holding back because they're scared to let loose. Those actors that we watch and we're just like, wow, they're always being vulnerable. And we like that because we relate to that. When you're acting, you need to be fully present. Nothing can be holding you back. Meisner says it this way, and I love it. He says that acting is just listening and responding. Know your lines so well that they can just flow out of you. You don't even have to think about them. Looking at this person, you're present in the moment. You're listening to what they have to say, and you're responding, you're reacting, and the lines are so ingrained in you that it's not something you have to force. I've also heard some people say acting is just listening and reacting, which I do think is true, but I think when we think of reactions, sometimes we can think of, oh, I have to make like this face here and this face there, and focusing on your performance, they're one of the main reasons why people come across as bad actors. I live in Los Angeles. Another thing that makes people come across as bad actors is they're just uncomfortable, not confident yet, and that is something that is going to come with time. Come across as fake. How do you make it so that way you're always present when you're acting? Because we're human beings and we're constantly up in our head, we're constantly thinking, we're constantly stimulated in some sort of way. So how do you get present in these moments? Something Emma Stone said that has stuck with me for so long that she does when she's really struggling to be present but before she performs is that she literally will just like, I'm sitting in a chair. I feel my butt against this chair. She'll touch something. This is a book. I feel this book. This is a ground. I'm looking at the ground. Like she focuses on things that are tangible and things that are right in front of her, because then she can't get up in her head like, oh, I'm going to be doing this here and saying this here. No, the preparation needs to happen before. The character backstory needs to happen before, so you can be free. All of that stuff is so important, yes, but when it comes time to actually perform, you shouldn't be thinking about that stuff. And of the fourth and final reason I think people come across as bad actors is they're hiding in some sort of way. Maybe it's a more happy, like funny scene, but they're really going through it and they just had like the worst morning of their life. They found out their goldfish Joey died. Somebody was breaking into their car. It was just a rough morning. To act and they are just not feeling great. Whether it's an audition, it's a scene in acting class, whatever, they're just feeling it. They're going through it. We all have those days where we're just going through it. Instead of trying to really overdo it with the happiness and really hide that they're going through it, maybe they bring that out and they bring those tears and be like, oh, I just farted, guys. Maybe the fact that they're bawling and people are like, what's wrong? And
It's like, I just farted.
you know, when the scene is funny because of that, because they brought what they were feeling. They weren't trying to hide it. It wasn't forced. It was natural and they brought that. I'm not saying use your trauma, cope in acting class. I'm not a fan of that at all, but bring whatever you're going through. Even if you're performing the same scene over and over and over, you should be finding something new every time because you're listening and you're responding and you're being present. So something new should come up for you and that should give off a new performance. The best actors are constantly surprising us, constantly doing things, saying things we don't expect, because that's what we do as humans. You can't predict what the person's gonna say right there. And so it's the same thing in acting. You don't wanna be able to predict what they're gonna do. You wanna watch them and see this stuff happen to them. You're not a bad actor. If anybody has ever, I'll have one of those coaches who rips us to shreds sometimes. You just had a bad moment where you weren't present and whatever. That person that you call a bad actor, also not be a bad actor. You might have just caught them at a bad moment. And so be nice to each other. Let's love each other. Let's not talk down about others. Most people can become a good actor. Is anybody a bad person or was it a bad moment? Know what I'm saying?
Clearing up some controversial points. Number one, acting is subjective, so one person might think somebody's a great actor, somebody else might disagree. I also think the longer you act, the easier it is to be fully present in whatever character you're playing, which leads to those great actors like Denzel and Meryl and all of them. I'm sure even they have occasional moments where it's hard for them to be fully present in the character, but yeah, I also hope it doesn't sound like I'm downplaying the craft of acting. I just think it's funny that a lot of us are like, oh, gee, they're a bad actor just based on one scene or one movie, when it's like, maybe it was just a bad moment. Maybe they're struggling to be present in that character, etc., etc. But anyway, I love you all. Let's be kind to each other. Peace.